Los Angeles. A lot of expected things come to mind when one thinks of LA. Hollywood, movies, red carpet, traffic and smog, Disneyland, beaches, but one thing that doesn't usually come to mind is Skid Row. And I'm not talking about the band. I'm talking about a small area of downtown Los Angeles that contains one of the largest homeless populations in the United States. So, how did Skid Row come to be Skid Row? The name itself is original to Seattle and stems from the logging phrase on the skids. Now, Skid Row in LA got its start back in the late 19th century, where seasonal laborers tended to end up. LA was the final stop on the Transcontinental Railroad, and many went there to start life anew with little to next to nothing. Since that time, there have been quite a few factors that have contributed to sculpting present-day Skid Row. One notable factor was that hospitals and law enforcement agencies were found dumping the mentally ill and homeless in Skid Row. This was discovered in 2005. Missions, the city, and individuals have all tried to rejuvenate the area. The city itself has tried to clean up the area more than once. But some of the methods employed were not exactly altruistic. For example, in 1987, the LAPD chief Daryl Gates and city mayor Tom Bradley decided to prosecute the homeless as a way to clean up the area. Thankfully, the LA City Attorney James K. Hahn made the following statement. Hahn stated that he was, quote, not going to prosecute individuals for not having a place to stay. I simply will not prosecute people for being poor, underprivileged, and unable to find a place to sleep until I'm convinced that a viable alternative to sleeping on the streets exists. Unquote. Another example. In 2002, the LAPD chief William Bratton decided that the way to clean up Skid Row was to enforce an anti-camping ordinance, which included confiscating the meager possessions of the homeless. For example, blankets, clothes, cooking supplies, and personal hygiene items were confiscated. The ACLU sued the city, citing the ordinance as going against the 8th and 14th Amendments. Now, I'm not covering everything here, obviously. And, maybe the city has done, or perhaps will do, some great things for the people on Skid Row. I just wanted to give you an ever so slight view into the history of Skid Row before moving on to the main topic of this video. You see, within this pocket of downtown LA is an organization called the LA Mission. And I had the fortune of interviewing Tina Russek, the Gifts in Kind manager, and she shed some light on what they do at the mission, and she also gave her own great insight into what homelessness is and means in America, as well as her own personal beliefs into how people can be helped. So I hope you enjoy the show. I'm Jeremy Nickel. I'm the host and the producer of the podcast In the Shoes Of, and here's the interview.
This is a house of second chances. We are actually designated as a church.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really? Yes. Oh, okay.
Our 501c3 is actually a church.
Yeah. Okay.
And so we have been serving Skid Row for over 80 years. Our 80th anniversary was yesterday, was last year.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're not the oldest and we're not the largest, but we do feel we're the best.
Yeah.
Our program is called Fresh Start. We are a in-house residential drug and alcohol rehabilitation program. And we have 446 beds.
So I want to ask, well, one thing before we even take off and go along, I want to know what your thoughts are and what kind of misconceptions are. I feel like there are a lot of misconceptions in America about what homelessness is, how we view it when we're on the road and we see someone begging for change. A lot of people probably are like, scammer or whatever. What would you tell the rest of us,
There are so many different phases and levels of homelessness. Yeah. I would say the most prominent issue would be mental health and, of course, addiction. Once you're in your addiction, whatever level of dignity, whatever level of shame is gone. You will do anything to get high. So that will tear that person apart and, of course, their family. So once you say, I'm going to give up my home, my money, my job. I will give up my children. You're a goner. And so to get out of that addiction, everyone says you have to hit bottom, and you do. Everyone has a different bottom. And sometimes they say, I can't do this anymore. And by the grace of God, an angel comes along and says, have you ever been to Los Angeles Mission? And we have those stories.
Really?
Where it's like literally some guy had the last thing on his body. He was totally ripped off, beat up, was lying there without his shoes. And he had a token for the bus. And he's on the bus and he's sitting there. And this is the true stories. And, he's riding along and goes, I'm a mess. I've lost everything. I'm scummy. I'll just kill myself. I'm going to kill myself. That's what I'm going to do. I'll get off the bus. Why am I on this bus? I mean, totally disoriented. This guy, and he just comes and sits down by him. I'm kind of chilling out, listening to some tunes. He's going, how are you doing? He says, I think I'm going to kill myself. He goes, you're having a bad day. Okay, you know what I think we should do? Let's go to Los Angeles Mission. What? He's going, what's that? He says, well, you know what? Let's just go there. I'll introduce you to one of the chaplains. He goes, I don't want anything like that. A chaplain? You mean it's religious? He goes, well, you're going to kill yourself, so give it one day, give it a day, And so this guy who is impoverished, who is, literally ready to, slit his throat or something, sits down with one of the chaplains. Oh, I have to digress. So he gets off the bus and he turns to the guy and the guy's gone. It's like he just evaporated. So, all of a sudden he sees the guy walking into the mission. He's going, well, thanks for waiting for me. So he's in the mission. And before he knows it, he's talking to a guy, another chaplain named Keith Newton. He goes, hi, I'm the intake chaplain. You want to talk to him? And he goes, no, I want to kill myself. He goes, let's do that later. Okay, let's talk. So what's going on? And this guy says, you don't understand. I've done it. I've had it. I've ruined my life. He goes, yeah. You know what we need right now? He goes, no, what? He goes, ice cream. Let's go get some ice cream. So they go across the street to the Green Apple Market. And as they're getting the ice cream, there's the guy that he met on the bus. He's good. I went through the program. I have a job now. I'm getting my family back. I love the Lord God with all my heart. You're going to go through this program. He says, no, I'm going to kill myself. He goes, go through it one day and talk to me tomorrow. Anyway, the guy graduated, has a brand new life. And he says, it was the Holy Spirit. There was no reason why all that would happen. It's not by chance. It's by design. And so there are people that are definitely down and out. There are people that choose to be in their addiction. And some people, and many people, will die. They'll die on the street by exposure, by the hand of another, by suicide, by overdosing. But you know what? It is a choice. We are born with choice. And the thing is, when you do want to turn it around, you have a plethora of help around here. The missions are here. This is where the rubber meets the road. So when you have someone that says, I'm not ready yet, I'm not ready yet, I'm not ready yet, I'm going to go to that sermon, I'll have that meal from the Los Angeles Mission, I'm not ready yet, I'm smarter than this, I don't need a God, I don't need, and then something hits them, they're going, well, maybe I do need a God, maybe I do need something.
Yeah.
So you want to see my mission?
Let's see it.
Let's do this.
Let's do that.
Let's do this.
Let's walk and talk.
Okay.
So, in your own words, how would you say, if you had to describe the perspective of someone who, before coming to the mission, and the perspective after they get out, let's say after a year, what are the differences there? What are the fundamental differences?
I think they have a foundation. They now have a foundation to believe and build on. Yeah. They have a faith. No one leaves this mission without knowing the Bible. Okay. I feel that they've regained their dignity. Yeah. And if they want those kids and they want that family back, they're going to have to work for it. Right. And I have so many stories of redemption and so many stories of, the witness around here is remarkable. Yeah. And, it's not like, I had, again, a couple bad years, don't know what went wrong. People come here, usually this is the last time at the rodeo. Sure. And they have to fight for this. No one's going to hand it to them. Yeah. And I think that, it's once they realize it, because we will feed and clothe them, and we will give them a place to live, and we will give them a second chance, and they will be loved. And so many people by that time do not feel lovable. Right. They've been living in their denial for so long, and of course in their addiction. This is our express elevator. Oh wow! Yes, okay. It's still Monday. Right. Holy criminy! And I'm giving you the the freight elevator, so you see all the glamour.
I love it. Yeah, I'm all about that glamour.
I know, all the
Yeah.
glam. Yeah, I think we have so many stories of redemption, and I think that's also the beauty of what we offer. Oh, here it comes now. Thank you so much. Excuse me. Hi, excuse me. So this is our courtyard. We also have 4 major street events a year. The Easter, the end of summer block party, where we present 1,000 backpacks full of school supplies to the kids of the community. So cool. Thanksgiving and Christmas, and it's massive.
Yeah.
And we've done it a couple times. So it's like I think I just had my 45th street event here. So
really?
yeah, so it's like it was it's like you wake up, and I'm not a huge morning person, but I have to wake up and be here at 7.
Well, you seem cogent, so and it was that's cool. And so how many people are here actually at any given time?
Well, we have, it's hard to say. I mean, we're serving, well, I'll say for an example, we serve 1,600 meals a day.
1,600?
Yeah, we have 4 breakfasts, 4 lunches, 3 dinners, and yet it's very structured. We have to, everything's constantly rolling, constantly in movement. Just to show you this too, this is our baggage claim, and this is where a homeless community can let my darling, wonderful Victor, the man is a saint.
Hey, Victor.
This is a baggage claim where they can drop off their belongings, get a claim ticket. They have to come back about 5:30 or so. This is also where they can have their luggage being held while they're using the bed tickets. Because, like I said, we have 200 designated beds for our homeless community, and the rest of the guys are in the program. But what's great is that we want to offer haircuts. We always offer underwear. This is huge. And socks.
That's something that most people just don't think about. A lot of people don't think about, and it's like, I can't even, wow.
It's very, very, very difficult to even wrap your mind around the general necessities, a toothbrush.
Right.
That's why I always ask my donors to create their assembly line of hygiene kits, and to throw in a nice white pair of socks, and your toothbrush and your toothpaste and hand cream, because your hands get so chafed.
Yeah, sure. And so, what do you think when somebody, let's say somebody would ask, well, what's the overall? I mean, that's what we all think. Like, well, what's the solution to all of this?
This is not a one-word solution. We need the housing. Some people don't even want to be in 4 walls. They're so feral that they feel that they're going to be better outside because they're going to be taken advantage of. They're going to be violated in some way, shape, or form. And so it's often, I think it's always program and education. And once they can dry out, and there's some people that they have to be ready. It's like dragging anyone else, kicking and screaming into a program. It's not going to happen. They've got to want to come by their own volition.
Gotcha.
But it's just, I would say 90% of it's drugs. Well, and again, I'm not an expert. But it's got to be the mental health issue and the drugs.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So if you had, let's say that you had to offer somebody, let's say somebody from another country, I don't know, Cambodia, for example. Let's say there's a place in Siem Reap in Cambodia. They all of a sudden have a homeless problem. I know nothing about it, but let's hypothetically. What would be your advice to them, considering that it's like a totally different? And my question too is almost twofold. I kind of want to know what your thoughts are on the differences between homelessness in America and LA. Yeah, of course.
So much of it is just housing, and yet even with the housing, I have to go back to, it's not just giving them a place to live, because they're still going to you don't want to put women in a situation where they're just going to be in another room where they can be raped and violated. So it's back to the education and the program and drawing them out and giving them purpose. Because if you want to, the addictive personality will probably die that way.
Gotcha.
And it's so shocking. And you think, even just finding your own happiness and your own identity is such a struggle with some of these folks. And I think that's why, that's why it's all For us, it's all about Jesus. Sorry. And I can talk about everything else, but not Jesus.
Well, no, you can talk about anything you want with
Okay.
this podcast.
Okay.
This is all about, for instance, this is about you too,
Oh.
so your thoughts. So feel free. You have
Okay.
free reign.
Okay.
Actually,
oh,
in
that's
this is
how lovely.
your
How lovely.
perspective and the perspective of the shelter. It's going to be a little bit different, from my other episodes, but no. Feel free.
Oh, and this is kind of neat. So we'll do a little quick observation. Oops, pardon me. We're doing a tour. Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you. This is actually very good. This is good. Yeah, it's so tempting. So tempting.
This is where we're going to get a meal.
Yes, they're going to hear the sermon. And a lot of them just absolutely pass out because they've been up all night.
Sure.
Either in their addiction or just so that someone else doesn't kill them. Or their body's just ravaged with so much.
And it's just finally I have a safe place. I don't have to actually worry and watch my back all the time.
Exactly. And we have all of our graduations here. We have 3 graduations a year, February, June, and October. And we graduate from anyone from, any number from, I think our smallest group was about 20 to 33, men and women. Sometimes there's not a dry eye in the house.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, that'd be very extraordinarily touching. Yeah.
Families that said, "Well, you're not going to drag us into the pit of hell. We're leaving you." And then they see them. It's their personal revival.
Yeah. And I imagine it sounds to me like you've kind of found your ultimate purpose in life too. Then, in doing this, would you say that that's true? That this is your purpose?
Well, I think that there's nothing like kind of, hey girl, how's my girl? How are you? Sorry. Good. Are you good? Okay, have the kiss. Well, you take care of yourself.
Okay, you too. Good to see you.
But you're okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, take care.
Okay.
Right. Thank you, honey.
Oh, Miss G.
Yes, what, honey?
I did want to tell you about something.
Go back here.
Forever. Because
my girl wouldn't do that unless you're naughty.
This is cool. We can it's got a peaceful atmosphere. Yeah.
And we're moving along. I mean, this is definitely our community, and this is thank you so much. This is where they're really going to take a minute, and this is our dining room. Our dining room. This is where we do serve 1,600 meals a day. Hey, and.
It smells good. I gotta say, it smells really good.
In fact, if you want a break for lunch, you could do that too. We have all the students work the program it's a work therapy program, so that they are working the kitchen 90 days, working the grounds 90 days, working facilities 90 days, and then they get a certificate for that. This is a full service stainless steel kitchen. Everybody works this program. I will be back. I hope you can save me a plate. I will be starving. Would you like to have lunch?
Oh, I'm good right now.
Okay.
Are you?
All
Yeah,
right.
we're good.
Yeah.
But I think I actually was here. It was like maybe a long time ago, like 20 years ago, when I was actually probably in here helping out. Because you guys have volunteers that come out and help in the kitchen, right?
We have a
All the
huge
time.
volunteer department.
Yeah. So how many staff do you have that are actually?
I'm sorry?
And how many? What's the ratio of staff to volunteer?
We have about, I think, 95 in staff to run this entire mission, and then we depend enormously on our volunteers,
Oh, totally.
and a lot of charities do, because it's just doing stuffing envelopes and that type of thing. It just really helps keeping the lights on. And we do pride ourselves in giving good clothes, always clean, brand new underwear. And we really want them to feel that they are loved and appreciated. A lot of this is not judging. but we're trying to meet them where they are. Yeah, so go. Yeah. Rodney, darling, how are you? Are you good, my friend? Are you okay? He was in the program and fell from grace, and he's back.
Okay.
You know.
Is that kind of a
Okay.
normal occurrence where?
It happens, but I'm just glad they come back.
Well,
You know.
right.
Yeah, I know, and a lot of them. And he graduated with honors, so it's like, oh, hi, Sandeep. Will you be back available at 1? Okay, I thank you. And to see some of these girls that just been so. Hi, sweetie. Hi. Hi. Fine. Just because of the time, let me take you over to the Douglas Center. We have, this is 4 floors in the basement. We have a gym on the 4th floor. We have the dorms upstairs for the gentlemen. We have bunk beds that we call our Genesis room, which is also for part of the community. But it's very, very important to, as I said, have the students work the program, and we have to keep this place really clean. So our custodial departments also, again, very organized. And you know what, the guys, when you've been saved here, they really do want to give back, which is nice. Excuse me, we're not supposed to be walking across here, but do you know who I am? When
This is Tina.
yeah, but come on. And I go by the way, when I first got here, I wasn't a pastor, but I was manager. I said, don't call me, I said, I don't want you to call me Tina. You're not going to call me Miss Russek, but call me Miss Tina or Miss T. Well, Miss T stuck. So I go by, then they started doing Miss T, then it was T-Dog, then it was GT, Gangsta T, then OGT, Original Gangsta T. It went on. So one guy, I have to tell you this. So this guy was working the dock. And he walked in, and my office used to be right in there because I was the facilities manager for the Douglas Center. And he says, you know what, Miss T, I've watched you, and you're a lady. And I don't know women that have been ladies in my life. My mother, she beat me. She was nothing more than a crack hoe. And I hated her, and I ended up beating up a lot of women in my life. But he says, but you're a lady, so may I call you Lady T? I was like, well, if you must. I'm stopping, at the time. Okay.
Your badge to
I know, it was so, yes, oh, it was so sweet. So good.
I like that one the best.
Yeah.
Lady
But,
T.
it was very dear. But when people do come back here and they say you're still here, it's like that. I know. We all wonder how's this going on. Okay. Doesn't this door know who I am? Oh, there we are. Okay. Okay, this is the Douglas Center for Women. This is actually composed of 25 beds. It's 27 beds. It is 25,000 square feet. Yeah. I was here, and with the background I had as the closet designer, and I could draw to scale, and I could help the architects. I was very involved with remodeling the Douglas Center for Women. And so this was really, Miss Barbara? Hello? We have gentlemen on the floor. And the elevator is still out of order.
Oh, is it?
The stairs are our friends.
I like friends.
Yes. Yeah, it's like, and I do this in 6-inch heels, so I don't want to hear any grumbling.
Oh, no.
Grumble, grumble, grumble.
So what are the differences between are there any differences between obviously there's going to be some differences between how the men's facility is run and the women's facility, but are there any?
I've seen a couple days. You have to earn your passes. It is a 4-phase program. As you progress in the program, you're given more privileges, but men do have a little bit more just because they're men, but you're out here where, anything awful could happen to a woman. So we're a lot more protective. This is the 2nd floor, which is the busiest floor because it is a residential floor. We have a couple of dorms up here. We have the living room. And when I was the facilities manager here, I said, for a year, we are your family. And for a year, this is your home. Yeah. And you better take care of it. Yeah. A little bit of a Nazi because I said, hi, Linda. Ladies. And so it was really a great opportunity to really bond with the women and hear their stories and see their transformations. It was really remarkable. And, and of course, so many of these women have kids and they want those kids back.
Of course, of course. I imagine it's a bit heartbreaking to hear.
Oh,
For lack,
yes.
that's really an understatement.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Ladies, how's everything? But are things groovy here at the Ann Douglas Center?
They always are. It's up to the weather.
I know. It's lovely. Spoke to the mayor today. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, she's house sitting
Yes.
at Marky's, of course.
Oh, I'm thinking the mayor.
Oh. Okay. Thank you, ladies.
What is this still?
Oh. Ugh. Hi, Portia. Hi.
How's it going?
Hi. I just have to show you this real quickly. This is our beauty parlor, salon, and laundry room. When we had the an RFP, request for proposal, go out, and we had this one architectural firm step up to the plate, and they said, and the two architects were Melissa and Kristen, and they said, oh, no, we should have this room popped out 4 more feet. We need to make beauty salons. We need to make stations. We should definitely have the women feel comfortable and where they can be female again and work with their sisters and primp with the hair and the makeup. And I thought you had me at hello.
Yeah.
They got it.
Yeah.
And so when I was working with them, and we decided to just make this definitely a home. I wanted this to be more residential versus institutional because of all the the metal furniture, and so we wanted to just soften it up a bit. And it really, and the girls really do love this space. And by the way, this is named after the Ann Douglas Center for Women. Ann Douglas is, of course, the wife of Kirk Douglas, who turned 100 last year. And we are celebrating her 25th anniversary this month, or is it next month? I know it's actually her, when they dedicated this space, it was February 14th, 1992. So on Valentine's Day, this is always a very special day to celebrate her kindness and generosity.
That is really cool. Yeah, I remember reading a little bit about that. For sure.
They are very extremely generous and very philanthropic.
Yeah.
So just to show you, let me see if I can peek in here. Ladies, hello. Hello. Okay, we'll just pop in here because this is sort of another dimension to the program. It's not exactly perfect, but this is our Jumpstart room. So it's the only room with 6 beds. And when women come into this program, they jump in the program, ergo Jumpstart, and then we go into Fresh Start. And they have to get through that first 30 days. And they do have to keep, their own space very tidy. Everyone has got their chores, their ministry assignments, and then their vocational assignments, which would be working in the kitchen and working in housekeeping. Sure. So no one sits around and eats bonbons and watches daytime TV. Nobody. Right. I would not allow it.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, it's like, let's keep busy. And again, the program is very demanding, and they have a lot of studies, and ergo why we call them students.
Yeah. Well, I think that's probably, that's one of the main ways of getting people to get better, right?
Mm-hmm.
Busy
yes, busy hands are happy hands. Yeah.
Totally.
Absolutely.
That's excellent. And so how many, what's the ratio like between how many males and how many females?
It's, well, just for an example, we have 446 beds and 27 of those belong to the women. The women's population is obviously smaller on Skid Row, but unfortunately it's growing. And as I said, one of the newer populations would be an entire family, a father, a mother, and a child. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know with child services, I don't know where they put their kids, but there's a lot of SROs, single resident occupancy, which are disgusting. And they do live in cars. They do live in every conceivable, the tents, perhaps you notice the tents, out of control.
Yeah.
So, but, there's all the dynamics of the politicians and what they do allow and what they don't allow, and you can't impede a doorway, and it's And the fact that we are kind of
the
this is where we have this family room, which has actually been designed for a mother and her kid, so that this folds out into. I wonder if this is open. It's a little. Well, okay, let's go back inside. This is sweet. This is our Mary Fran family room. We had a group called the Celebrity Action Council, which was a bunch of women from show business, mostly TV, and they were helping support the Ann Douglas Center with having fashion shows and certain parties, and it was delightful. But anyway, this would open up into a sleeper, and the mother could be with their kid to reunify and have a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and learn to trust each other again. And the child could go up, play out, safely on the patio, and then mom could watch some videos. But she was separated from the rest of the population of the building, so they could have that private time together.
It makes sense.
And and that's been very successful, very, very, very successful.
And do you have are there any instances where, let's say, maybe a TV celebrity takes, hey, you know what, can we take a few of these ladies out for, I don't know, out for dinner somewhere at a nice restaurant?
We have a lot of outings, but it's always very structured. Again, they do earn the privilege of having certain outings, and seeing their families, and that is, again, very much earned, but from like a 30-minute walk to an hour walk to finally they have, a couple hours out with their families, or and so many times, unfortunately, the family can be part of the problem. So we really have to monitor that too. If they're just going back to more temptation, that's not good.
Yeah. So is it based on a point system where, if you, or what kind of system is it?
Well, because they have their chaplains. Hi, my darlings. When they have their chaplains, that as they earn their privileges, everything is discussed, and they have to be in at a certain time and out at a certain time. And again, and they will be written up. And they could, run the risk of losing the program if they just say, oh, I didn't feel like coming back, and I took a whole week off, and now I'm finally coming back to the mission. You're out. And we have a zero tolerance for drugs and violence.
Oh,
so if anything, it's very much it's our way or the highway, because we can't have that. They have to have that new level of discipline in their life. They have to.
Yep.
And give them an inch, they'll take a mile.
Yep.
So it's, but you see these girls that once they go through the program, they realize that, the blessing is so gigantic. It's like, why jeopardize it?
Oh, yeah. Exactly. And you mentioned politics a little bit earlier, but how?
Oh, you're going to go this way. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
I'm so sorry. It's just,
Okay.
I realized, where am I?
And has that had any effect on the operational from an operational standpoint, the mission? Does politics come into play more than you would like it to, or?
I think, with Measure H and HH and all that, I think the city is trying to work on the problem. It's just that it's right now we don't have the perfect answer. We have a lot of things that are working. The missions do work, and of course, if you need food and clothing and shelter, it is down here. Yep. And again, this is the Chicago School of Psychology. So, this is just not a one-word answer. It's just it is so layered. And but once that person, I'll tell you one thing, once we have someone in and out of the program that's successful, they're the best disciple in town.
Yeah, well, I'm sure.
Because they're going to spread the word.
Well, when you're changed that dramatically.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
You see no other way it has to be. Yeah.
And you can see that they, again, when they come together with that family, and as I said, we just don't save a person. Hi there. We don't just save a person, we save a family.
Yep.
And it's It's pretty remarkable. And during our graduations, Miss Sheila, just a minute, Miss Sheila, a volunteer director, she's amazing. And Jeremy and Gregg, our lovely cameraman. Sheila is an amazing force to be reckoned with. She is the ever-ready bunny. She is our directress of volunteers. The volunteers love her. Yeah, so you can come back and she'll work you to death.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, no, yeah.
And if you
Seriously.
blink, you'll miss me.
Yeah. She's fast.
And she's out.
And she's out. Yes, indeed. Yeah, boom. Yeah. Indeed. So yeah, we have a lot to be, and you know what? Most people that come here love working here.
Sure.
It's not just this job. It's like we do enjoy, and we enjoy each other.
Yeah. No, that's really cool.
And everyone has a story.
Everyone has a story.
It's not the same story.
If do we have time? I don't
What?
want to take up all your time.
Yeah.
Do we have time?
For
Just for additional discussion.
Oh, yeah, sure. What-
Is that still going?
I don't know.
I
Is,
believe
oh
it
my
is.
gosh, I'm just.
Yeah, it is. Good. I like that. Just let me know if we're running out of time and you need to get.
I have
somewhere.
like about another 5 minutes, maybe.
Okay, maybe we can just even do a final couple of questions.
Okay.
What are some of the most remarkable stories you've heard of just, a person coming in who's, I'm sure they're all remarkable in their own way, but what are some stories that stand out?
Well, I'll tell you, there's a graduation. We have the Andoga Center Honors Evening, which, because the women are women, we have a separate graduation, sort of a very immediate in that Spanish chapel ceremony for that evening, get together, a little reception where those 3, 4, or 5 women can witness to an audience, and usually their families. And one story was so great because Stephanie was up at the microphone giving her story and her witness. And it was like, she looks at him and she says, "You raised my babies. Can you ever forgive me for what I did to you? Can you ever forgive me?" And she says, "This has been a gift from God to be here. And I will make this up to you." And you hear this little baby say, "I love you, Mama." And she says, "Honey, I'm coming home." And it was like, okay, well, that was another special day in paradise. Oh my God. And stories like that. Literally. And she's done very well. And she's been totally reunified with her family. So, between our serving the community, between me dabbing my eyes, it's like every day there's something that is so remarkable. And there, when I first got here, a wonderful woman who's now retired, but we're still very, very close, Barbara Rudin, said, "Prepare yourself for miracles." It's like there's no other explanation. We've had people die, flatline, they come back to life, and we've had people also pass away here because their body couldn't take anymore. And finally, they could take the time to take that deep breath, and their body just finally failed, which is always just tears your heart out of your chest. But they're now at peace. They didn't die on the streets with a needle in their arm.
Yeah.
Or by the hand of someone.
Exactly. And hopefully that doesn't happen
It happens.
a lot.
Yeah, it's
but
here.
I understand
Yeah,
that.
it's just a remarkable place to be. There's no, it's like we have our little grumpy grump days, it's like,
Who doesn't?
can you believe,
Of course.
but to see this kind of redemption and this opportunity to see lives changed and to see a kind of happiness and inner joy. And it's not about making the big bucks, and it's not about driving the new Mercedes. You see joy here. And even on the streets when some of the folks are just kind of hanging out and I'm walking by and saying, "How you doing?"
Yeah.
And they just say, "Thanks for even talking to us." I said, "Well, you're a child of God.
Okay.
What's up?"
I'm Lady T, by the way.
Yeah, perhaps you've heard of me. So,
Okay, so I know you have to get going. One final question.
Yes.
Can you just give us maybe a synopsis of how you see life on this planet? Any perspective that you can give us about how you perceive life would be really cool.
I think outstanding question. I think so much of life is giving back. It's not boiling down to give me, take me, buy me.
Yep.
It's because when you feel overblessed and your cup runneth over and you're going, "I've been saved," or I've seen the face of God. you know, I have to go out. And I don't care if it's at a soup kitchen. I don't care if it's wrapping up eating utensils with a little napkin and rubber band. If there's something about the greatest thing is touching another human life. And I feel blessed beyond my personal wildest dreams. I've got a great life. And I can't imagine not working anyplace else, because if God has given me those gifts, and God has given me this opportunity, and I can say to someone, you know what, I believe in you. You stop believing in you, but I'm going to keep believing in you. And, you know, and for that person to say, all right, I'm going to give this one more chance. This is my last chance. And you are surrounded by miracles. And I think that's where you find the greatest joy in life. And, you know, especially if you're counting your blessings. And I believe that. If you really stop thinking about yourself and your little problems, even if they're big problems, and we have some huge problems in life, but if you say, I'm going to stand on my faith, and by God's grace, and biblically, His grace is sufficient enough. And so when you start saying, you know what, the minute you start giving more to the next person, you start saying, wow, have not only I been blessed, but I'm feeling a little bit better about life. There is a lot of good in life. There's a lot of bad. But I believe that the bad is trying to keep up with the good. That, you know, the bad is there. And of course, the bad is what we report on.
Of course, right.
But when you see someone really, truly saved, and it's like they've got something that everybody wants, that inner joy.
Yeah. Well put.
So glad you could be at the Los Angeles Mission.
Oh, thank you so much. I seriously appreciate. I appreciate this so much. Yeah, it's very beautiful what you're doing. And I want to see.
Well, you may come back. Am I a mess? Am I a total mess right
You
now?
are not a mess. No, beautiful.
Blotting.
No, you're fine.
I get very
Thank you so
verklempt.
much.
Thank you so much for
Yeah.
coming and for caring.
Of course. No,
art.
this story needs to be told.
Thank you.
Yeah, it does. And we're gonna tell it. I'm going to be.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Let me walk y'all out.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'll let you know. I'm planning on launching next month.
Oh really?
Yeah. I'm gonna be doing it in seasons.
Oh.
So kind of like Netflix style a little bit.
Okay.
But yeah.